Dr. Karen E. Wells, and welcome to Module 4, which is all about the central nervous system and the posture. So, as long as you've done the self-assessment tasks for Module 3, let's move on to Module 4 about the central nervous system and the posture and how those two things connect, because certainly that's what you'll be looking for when you're dealing with treating clients using the tool of kinesiology. Okay, so it's about when the muscle precipitors need to be adjusted, they fail to signal properly. Now this leads to false messages being sent via the sensory nerves to the spinal cord and the cerebellum between the central nervous system. Now, if the CNS responds appropriately but incoming signals are incorrect, then the outgoing signals via the motor nerves will be incorrect. So you can see what starts to fail at that point. So because of that, some muscles will be too tense or be too relaxed. Now, when that happens, whether it goes to one or the other extreme, it actually is affecting the posture. Now, poor structural alignment occurs, and this can lead to uncoordinated movements if it's not corrected. The central nervous system reacts to information that's inputted in a similar way to a computer, and it defines how the information is presented, and it can lead to internal processing. Now, thereafter, signals go to various parts of the body. Now, stimulus is interpreted on an individual level. Now, the signals from the Golgi tendon organs and the spindle cells have the responsibility for patterns of motion and for posture. Now, the key to understanding and correcting the posture is that it becomes a habit, and so poor posture needs to be corrected gradually. After all, incorrect posture can feel normal if it's repeated. And so if you, as the kinesiologist, have a client with poor posture, you're going to ask them to sit straight, stand straight, and notice whether they tighten their muscles or whether their posture might appear straighter if they tense the muscles constantly. This, of course, can have a damaging effect. So those muscles remain tight, they shorten, and they're fighting against the agonist muscles. This leads to the joints jamming together and for complete discomfort for your client. So even if you ask your clients to stand tall and avoid slouching, they might not be able to hold that posture for long. And this is because those signals have not altered. Old tensions are not released and become counteracted due to the new tension. So it's like a kind of catch-22 situation. Now, if you're moving into a new and correct posture, your client's likely to feel uncomfortable, as if it feels strange or wrong. However, poor posture has been formed through repeated use, and that feels more comfortable. So within kinesiology, we're using muscle correction techniques to break the chain. We adjust the signal of the tendon organs and the spindle cells. So when that happens, the central nervous system provides and receives a more accurate input of information. But remember that you're aiming to help your clients to achieve a balance and an optimal tone per muscle. This leads to a much improved structural alignment. So we're talking about active muscles there, and we're coming on to the fascial release technique. Now, if you're going to treat hypertonic muscles with trigger points, an ice application is useful. It aids the muscle, stretching it, but you have to be careful. So improper use of ice can damage the tissues by freezing them, and obviously we don't want that to happen. So instead, you're going to slide along the affected tissue towards the heart with an ice cube, and do this while stretching the muscle. This is the safe way to work on the muscle. And the fascia also lengthens during the ice application. Now, you should not do that repeatedly. So we've got here a process for testing the muscle stretch response. You're going to test the muscle, and if weak, strengthen it. Extend the muscle completely and gently stretch it. Try then to extend it a little bit more. Stretch the postural muscles slowly. Stretch the fascic muscles quickly and retest the muscle. And if it continues to test as weak, it has an abnormal stretch response. If there's a dysfunction at all associated with the associated gland or organ, you're going to turn to the fascia release technique. Now we've put some information here as well about how you're going to drain the excess fluids, about the fascia release technique. So make sure that you're looking at that. And then at the end of module 4, there's just one self-assessment task, and that's to practice the techniques given in the module so that you feel comfortable performing them. So practice. Friends and family, they're going to love that you're doing this with them. So practice, and when you've done that, I'll see you on module 5. Have a great day.